there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with today's episode of the Daily Delve, where we delve into the MTG market to look for cards that have the potential of going up in value. Today, I want to look at Ajani Nakato Pariah / Ajani Nakato Avenger, which is a card that has been spoiled out of Modern Horizons 3, and I think it is going to be a fan favorite with Commander players because it is another commander that can turn into a Planeswalker, and most of these flip cards have been extremely popular in the past, and it also has to do with cats, and we know the casuals love the cats, and I think that players are going to build this commander incorrectly. They're going to focus too much on tribal cats with the Ajani because the Planeswalker side of it does put +1 counter on each cat you control, but I think the power of this card is actually in the control aspects of the 0 as well as in the -4 for Ajani Nakato Avenger, where you can force an opponent to basically pick one artifact, creature, enchantment, planeswalker, and sack the rest, or just to create a 2/1 cat warrior token, so you're going to be able to progress your board state as well as get rid of any problematic creature on the battlefield. So Ajani Nakato Avenger, I think people are going to focus on that +1 ability. If you actually look at the cards that are being played right now, according to EDH Rec, you have the top 3 here being Leonin Warleader, the Regal Caracal, and the Brimaz, King of Oreskos. But I actually think the third or the fourth one is the most powerful one with Feldar Cub, which can immediately flip the creature into the Planeswalker form. And if I were to build this deck, that's what I'd focus on. Cards like the Skull Clamp and the altars like Phyrexian Altar and Ashnod's Altar, as well as things like Goblin Bombardment, so I can guarantee that we flip it and start getting the value off of the Planeswalker side. But, of course, people are going to want to build this particular card in Commander because now it does have access to a bunch of the red cats, and there have been Naya commanders that utilize the cats, but I think having this Ajani being able to splash in the red ones is going to be very, very lucrative to a lot of people wanting to build a cat tribal deck. So, of course, the Holy Trinity, the top 3 of these are going to go up in value. The first one being Leonin Warleader. This one has a pretty hefty price tag already at $6.70 for the cheapest one. There's also a Secret Lair. I mean, the Secret Lair, oh my god, kitties, wasn't too long ago, so there's plenty of those out in the mix, but this card has a lot of ebbs and flows over time as a new card that spikes it up. Like I remember New Capenna, there was a card that worked around tokens and cats, and it went back down because of the jump start, and then it's gone back up and gone back down a little bit, as well as the sales data of this is pretty strong. Like you see tons of these sell per day, and there's just a lot of demand already from very popular commander decks wanting this card. And so typically, if you can find cards that already have a lot of demand, like every time I see a vampire tribal or something that deals with lifelink, I think like Veto already has so much demand for cards in the past, and now it's going to get more demand. You're going to see a price spike, kind of that double dipping of demand to increase these ones. So I'm expecting Leonin Warleader, unless it's printed in a commander deck, upcoming commander deck in one of these sets, is going to spike up in price. And then Card Kingdom is actually pretty much out of stock with these ones, so that's a good sign too. When there's only 2 versions of this particular one, the cheapest one on Card Kingdom, that's always a good indicator whether or not this card is going to go up in value. If we take a look at Regal Caracal, we can see a lot cheaper price point. We can see the same kind of ebb and flow. It went back up. I'm not quite sure what happened here in between March Machines and now, if there's like a commander that was utilizing it. I know, again, a lot of token commanders like this card, a lot of lifelink commanders like this card, but the Regal Caracal just spits out 2 1/1 cats and gives other cats +1/+1, so it's kind of the lord in this shell. There's actually quite a few of them, but this one is pretty strong as it gives them lifelink, as well as putting additional cats out there on the battlefield. And if you check the price sales of this card too, I mean, again, this sells quite frequently, a few copies per day, but that is definitely going to increase as the time approaches the Modern Horizons 3 release. And we go over to Card Kingdom again. It's completely out of stock of this particular card in the cheapest version. So that is a good sign for Regal Caracal, as I think that places like Card Kingdom and other vendors are going to up their buy list for this card in anticipation for the Modern Horizons 3, with all of the copies they are anticipating they're going to be selling. And last but not least, we look at Brimaz. Brimaz, again, is a very high price tag, the highest one of this, but you can see it's very similar, goes up and down and up and down. So typically you want to get on this card on its down. And that's the good news about Bramaz right now, is it's its low for the past 4 years, I would say. And it most has to do that it was on the list. It is no longer on the list, and it also has the secret layer for this particular one, but that was back in 2022 as well. So the supply, I think, is on its low end of, and the price is the outlook of the price is looking accordingly here, that this is the low it's been in a long time. But I think that this is going to be the card. The Modern Horizons Ajani will be the card to bring this one back up, and you could easily see $25+ price tag on Bramaz. It's, again, one of the more powerful of the cards that can actually spit out a bunch of tokens, and that renewable resource of getting more and more tokens. And if you look at the sales data, same thing. It's quite a bit to sell per day. Like, this is exactly what you want to see for a card, a very healthy card where the demand just naturally outstretches the supply. And we're going to see a huge increase of that demand as we get closer to Modern Horizons 3. So back over to the Card Kingdom, this one does have a lot more in stock for the EX versions. And again, there are some other versions of this card, especially, like I said, the list put a lot of supply into the mix, but it is not on the list right now in the current sets that are being opened. So anyway, that is my pick for today. A little bit longer video today for the daily delve on the Rogue Market for Ajani Nakato Pariah. We'll see you tomorrow.